There was a focus group performed, including a group of students who participated in a summer math program called LER at Lincoln University. This focus group was performed on July 12th, approximately at 3:13. The program was aimed to prepare students for college level courses and beyond. The focus group was conducted by a faculty member, and he was also a program facilitator of the LER program. And he recorded on his iPad. There were originally 6 students that were participating that were accounted for, and all were asked if they had permission to record. About 11 minutes into the focus group, another student showed up and also gave consent. So I analyzed the transcription through Max QDA software. I extremely struggle with the software of trying to use it, but I did understand how to go in and create codes. So I created a different code for every question that the facilitator asked, and then was able to highlight what answers went with what code. And so my hope was to create a query, like if you had a query for a specific question, like if the question was on a scale of 1 to 5, how comfortable are you with like how you're doing math? And if you asked that question, it would extract all of that data. If you chose that question on the query, it would extract all of that data out of the transcription. That's how I kind of understood it. So that's how I tried to formulate it. So also back to the focus group, the facilitator started off explaining to the students that they were participating in a focus group. He explained to them what it is and that the questions would primarily focus on the program and the community. They were told the goal is to get a relative representation of the group and gain perspective to focus on program improvement. So the first question that was asked was what study strategies work best for the students with learning math. One consensus amongst all students was that they, in some way, shape, or form, wrote it down, or at least had examples. And some students mentioned that they would write it down, practice it. Those that they didn't understand, they would leave, come back to it. Some students use note cards, but of course, it was just best for them to use a visualization tool in order to learn and study math. So, the next question was, how confident are you in your ability to excel outside of your comfort zone? Um, the students asked, was this in regards to their personal life or math, which I think is really important to note that there is a intersection of the two. Like how you show up in one space is how you may show up in another space. So in regards to math, one student shared that because they like math, they felt comfortable in it, and it comes to easy to them. 2 students gave very vague answers of pretty confident. Like they both said the same exact thing of pretty confident. But once asked to elaborate, they shared background information as to why they were confident in general. So they said that because they've been in so many different spaces, they've been able to comfortably navigate them. So that allows them to go anywhere that they so choose to, and they feel comfortable within, foreign settings. And both those students who said that they were pretty confident, and they agreed that that's why they're confident, that level of exposure, and that they have a general confidence about themselves. One student shared that their confidence level, they brought up a Likert scale. They said on a scale of 1 to 10, they give themselves a 6.25 because they used to have bad anxiety, but that is something they're working on and they're trying to get more out of their shell. So one student stated they feel confident because math is based off things just learned and that they are compounding concepts. So it's once you learn, math, then you could do multiplication for like for a reference, I guess. They're just consistently building on each other so you can find what step that they need to learn to practice. The next question focused on students' math performance and their beliefs about themselves. There's a general consensus that all students felt they are performing well or at least satisfactory in their own opinion. The next question provided both qualitative and quantitative data because the question asked students to rank to what degree do they feel math will play a part in future success. They were asked to rate it on a scale of 1 to 5, with 5 being significantly playing a part. Four of the six students' responses were based on the fact that they were STEM majors. There was one that was an engineer, there was two nursing students, and one student said that they aspired to be an OBGYN. So all of theirs were pretty much five or high fours. There was one business major, but he also ranked math as high simply because he said he was going to be counting money. And a psychology major also ranked high because they stated that they were interested in data analytics. So overall, the average score of all the responses given was a 4.5. The next question focused on what students felt they sacrificed. It did seem that students were a bit confused about this question, so they did ask the facilitator to expound on it. And once they elaborated, the facilitator, they kind of came to a conclusion that maybe sacrifice wasn't the word that they best understood, but what was sort of the trade-off that they had for participating within this program. So students shared that they sacrificed, or the trade-off was their free time, valuable time with family because they were there rather than spending the summer at home, their energy and comfortability because again, there was a student who shared that they had a bit of anxiety and that included meeting new people. So they put themselves out there by participating in a program with new people in a new place. But overall, all students did seem to have the same thought process that what they gave up was worth it for having participated in the program. So their investment yielded a positive result. The next question that was asked was, why do you second guess yourself? The question brought about a lot of feedback and dialogue. Most students agreed and had a general consensus of not wanting to be wrong. Some students shared how just maybe their background experiences or their life experiences have caused them to second guess themselves, and that's just how that's how they function. But overall, it was that they didn't want to be wrong. And so this led into a new question that I don't think was originally a part of the dialogue, but that's the beauty of using a focus group, is that you can kind of guide yourself based on the feedback that you get to get different themes or trends and see things like that. So the question that was asked was, what is wrong with being wrong? The facilitator really wanted the students to be vulnerable and critically think, to share their thoughts and experience. One student shared that they didn't think anything was wrong with being wrong if it was internal. It's only was really a problem if other people knew that they were wrong, because it was extremely embarrassing. There's a collective thought, not only amongst the group of students that were in the focus group, but the facilitator, that we all have a thing where we just got to be right. A complex about that, and that we should be more open to, stepping back and being okay with being wrong, because when you're wrong, you can analyze it and get to the right answer. So the train of thought led to the next topic, which focused more within the community aspect. It took a look into the dynamics of teachers and students, and do students enjoy talking with teachers and professors? One student did share that it is a bit intimidating. Teachers and professors are experts within their field, and no one again wants to feel less than or feel that they're not up to par. And so that it could at times be intimidating, is the word I would use to describe how the student described it. But overall, students said that they enjoy having relationships with their teachers. They feel it's necessary. They know that in the long run, it would yield benefits, whether it's just learning from them, in the future, wanting to have that relationship for networking, or, having them as an example of being able to be in that place, especially seeing teachers and professors that look like them in these professions that may have historically been underrepresented. So overall, there were some positive responses. And another point that came up within this conversation is that teachers creating safe spaces for students to come and have open dialogue and conversation. So the facilitator ended the session asking students if they wanted to share or ask anything else, and that there will be a follow-up focus session at another time via Zoom. So many participants shared that they really enjoyed being a part of the focus group. They felt they were not being judged and that more of them should be done. They were able to learn from one another. There was a valuable feedback, and they also discussed the math circle, which I'm assuming was a part of the LRI programming. And they were able to come to the consensus that it would be more effective if the groups were smaller. So overall, the focus group will provide valuable feedback to the students and program administration for program improvement. Key points to take away is that by participating in the LR programming, students were able to create a community and safe space prior to starting official classes. They were able to interact with faculty and also provide feedback that maybe there needs to be that faculty can try to be more approachable. If to build those safe learning environments for students. They were able to relate to one another and learn from one another, whether that was learning styles or just realizing that they all had shared experiences and also had shared experiences with the facilitator. There were, however, a few limitations that I recognized within collecting this information, specifically with like the questions that were asked on a Likert scale. We aren't exactly sure how many people, well, it was not a consistent number of people that answered the questions. So it was hard to take averages because each number of responses was different. So I do think in the future that it would be best to do like scale questions on a written evaluation form. And that way, the same number of people answered that question and you're better able to have that quantitative data if that was the desired outcome. And then, of course, there's always a bias. Um, and so we always have to take that into account, that bias could have an impact on how a student responds or just their personal self. But overall, this focus group shed light on other programmatic processes that could be improved, like the math circle, and decreasing the number would be beneficial. And that just truly these students seem to enjoy having a safe space to come and share their thoughts, be heard, and more importantly, being a part of the team for their own learning journey. Thank you.